Oh yeah, big fish. We the ones that you wanna get with. Took a couple L's, rung a couple bells. Real ones, too legit for coin selling. Straight shooters, all troopers. Me and the guys ain't never been. Skig in the building first. He letting it be known. Skig in the building first. Grand Rising, good people. Grand Rising, good people. Y'all know what it is. Happy Friday. Finna be a great day. Finna be a great day. Why does this sound? Hold on. I don't like the way this stuff is sounding. What up, Unc? All right, bet, Unc. Tap in. Yeah, we're gonna need you today. We're gonna need you today. I'm thinking maybe when we start doing, we're probably not gonna do the we're probably not gonna go over the, hold on, let me turn this down. Can't even hear myself think. We probably won't do the review. So I got a couple things to talk about first, and then I'll bring you in when we start doing the review with the religion, because I definitely want to tap in with that. That's probably going to be the bulk of it and give you a chance to respond on everything else. Definitely, man. Appreciate that, man. Oh, y'all down here. Ah, y'all in the yay. Well, y'all close, man. I can feel y'all presence. So that's probably why I can feel y'all presence. Let me see. Let me put this back. All right. So today, y'all already know what we got today. Hold on. We'll give it a sec. Let's let everybody like, subscribe, get in the building. I don't know why this sounds so loud. Hold on. If y'all can hear me straight, then I'm good. But it's coming through the headphones, kind of weird and staticky. Maybe I don't want to turn the fan off because, all right, if y'all can hear me, we good. If y'all can hear me, you good. Yeah, let me know when y'all pull up. Today, I'm locked in most of today until the evening probably, but let me know because this is when I do my editing today and yesterday. So I got my Friday deadline, but y'all definitely let me know what time y'all gonna make it down. But what we got today? All right, so we're gonna go over Jamal Bowman, former congressman. I believe he was a former congressman. He had some interesting things to say on CNN. And we're going to refresh your memory about who Jamal Bowman is. That's the guy that pulled the fire alarm to delay the vote in Congress. I'm sorry. Oh, and I'm feeling a little better. So now everything's coming out. So now that everything's coming out the system, you know, the nose and the chest, we're feeling much better. So definitely feeling good about that. So I'm going to take my ginger shot with y'all. Just to toast Grand Rising. Hopefully this is not one of those, I don't know, if it hits, it hits. This is Trader Joe's, actually. Trader Joe's got a brand. Pretty good. Ooh. Yeah. All right, we ready to go. We're not going to delay any longer. But like I said, I think we got a couple. Do we have a couple icebreakers? Maybe just one. We're going to get into this Jamal Bowman video. Then we'll go to Stephen A. with a video with Jonathan Greenblatt. We may have one other video. Hold on one second. We may have one other video, but then we'll get into the bulk of the conversation, which was revisiting the video from yesterday that we were learning the history of what separated the religions of Islam and Judaism. Obviously, we're talking about this because it's a big issue. America is definitely impacted as we've played a role. I think Donald Trump just put out a Truth Social about Bibi Netanyahu. We actually may take a look at that. Actually, that is the video that we're going to take a look at that. Candace Owens, she had a video where she was discussing this Donald Trump Truth Social. And Candace Owens had a bunch of stuff that she was talking about, which apparently, like, they're paying people $5,000. If you want to say something negative about Candace Owens and you got a little bit of a following, they are literally paying people $5,000 in order to put up certain things about Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. So I don't know if y'all need a little we all could use a little help with the rent, you know what I'm saying, the mortgage. So I don't know, y'all, to each their own, but I won't be doing it because, you know, those are my peoples and I appreciate what they're doing. And it's like, damn, even if you don't agree with somebody's point at a particular time, like that's what we're doing. We're just putting up bread. I think it was like $5,000 worth of Bitcoin to say something negative about them, but it is what it is. I guess when you're obsessive over controlling your public view and perception, I guess you go to some extreme measures, or you could just not care. You could just not care. And I don't know if a lot of y'all saw the beginning. That's actually what we're going to start off with. I don't know if a lot of y'all saw the thumbnail, but the first thumbnail, it actually was from, I don't know if you peeped what was on the side, but it was from one of my favorite movies, Remember the Titans. And there's a line that I want to show you. I want to show you the scene. We've actually played it on the show before, but I think that's a good way to start off the show because I think that's going to set the tone on everything else. Shout out to Shy in the building. Shout out to Bubby Bub in the building. Yeah, so don't do that. It sounds nasty. Don't do yeah. All right, man. Let's get into the video. So therefore, you feeling the new background? You feeling the new background, baby? All right. I like that. All right, let's get to it. Oh yeah, I didn't even let everybody know last time. Yo, we got a whole studio now. I'm just sitting at the table. We don't have everything like the couch, TV, the little bar area. We got everything set up. So it's pretty much like a big cabana, and we're turning it into a studio. So yeah, y'all definitely yeah. I'm in. You heard? All right, let's get into the video. Hold up. Holy. All right, let's see. It says Google Chrome is accessing your screen. All right, nobody's worried about that. All right, y'all take a look at this. Y'all let me know. Or don't let me know. Just this is going to set the tone for the rest of the conversation. All right. Let me get out of here and press play. All in the way.
All right, man, listen. I'm Gary. You're Julius. Let's get some particulars and just get this over with, all right?
Particulars?
Yeah.
No matter what I tell you, you ain't gonna never know nothing about me.
Hey, listen. I ain't running any more of these 3 days, okay?
Well, what I got to say you really don't want to hear, because honesty ain't too high up on your people priority list, right?
Honesty? You want honesty? All right, honestly, I think you're nothing. Nothing but a pure waste of God-given talent. You don't listen to nobody, man. Not even Doc or Boone. Shiver push on the line every time, man. You blow right past them. Push them, pull them, do something. You can't run over everybody in this league. And every time you do, you leave one of your teammates hanging out to dry. Me in particular.
Why should I give a hoot about you? Huh? Or anybody else out there? You want to talk about a waste? You the captain, right?
Right.
Captain's supposed to be the leader, right?
Right.
You got a job?
I have a job.
You been doing your job?
I've been doing my job.
Then why don't you tell your white buddies to block for Red better? Because they have not blocked for him or for Plug Nickel, and you know it. Nobody plays, yourself included. I'm supposed to wear myself out for the team? What team? No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look out for myself, and I'm going to get mine.
See, man, that's the worst attitude I ever heard.
Attitude reflect leadership, Captain.
Woo! All right, so that's one of my favorite scenes for a lot of reasons, and I kind of go to that in a lot of different ways to explain some points. For one, that is one of the worst attitudes that you can have. Hands down, that's one of the worst attitudes you can have, and I see that happening around the world. Everybody is looking out for them. That is the reason when I sit back and I think about religion, when I think about what it's supposed to represent, how it's supposed to be our connection to God, how it's supposed to be our connection to each other. But how do we move through this world? We move through this world as just we're just worried about ours. We're just worried about what's good for me. I don't care if they die as long as it allows me to live in a better way. I'll just say that, hey, I'm protecting me and mine. So it could be a threat. I'd rather kill a threat or a perceived threat than to try to figure out a situation how we can live together. That's how I see it. So And the next line is probably the most important line, where it says, attitude reflects leadership. Captain, our attitude largely reflects the leadership. That's why when we sit back and we look at some of the horrible things that have happened in this world, and we say, like, how could they have gotten the majority of people to buy into this? How could they have gotten the majority of people to accept this, to go along with this, when it's obviously something so horrible, no matter what it is? And the reason is because attitude reflects leadership. Most people are gullible. Like we always say, the mob is fickle. People just go along with what their leadership says. Because why? Because when you go along with leadership, it creates less problems. Less problems that we feel in the now that are going to impact our day-to-day life. It's like going against your boss. Do you want to go against your boss, or is that going to be a headache? Is it easier to just do what your boss says? That way there's no headache. That way the check still comes, every other Friday. That way you're good. You can sit back. You don't have to create that tension, create an argument. So what do? We'll justify and rationalize why it's okay to go along with what our boss is saying, regardless of whether it aligns with our principles, morals, and values, just to have an easier process rather than to have a confrontation. So that's what we typically do. And we're seeing that all over the world. We're seeing that all over the world. I just put up the story when I was putting up the thumbnail, and I'm like, yo, we all know what's going on is wrong. Like, we can look at certain situations and say, this is wrong. These people are being mistreated. This is a terrible situation. This is a genocide. And as we go on, when I heard one of the craziest things that I've heard regarding the Middle Eastern region, in which Jonathan Greenblatt, the head of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, told Stephen A. Smith, he was talking about October 7th, and he was talking about how Iran committed a genocide, and he said on October 7th, and I'm like, or it's genocidal on October 7th, and I'm like, yo, the delusion in people's mind. Like how we see ourselves compared to how we see others, the accountability or the lack of accountability that we'll place on ourselves, and the lack of responsibility that we'll place on ourselves just to justify certain things that sound completely crazy. But what ends up happening? Stephen A., right? What did I say? Attitude reflects leadership. Stephen A. does not want to give that pushback because he's worried about what can come back from that. Right? Who owns ESPN? Maybe he's thinking that his bosses are more aligned with supporting Israel. So therefore, he doesn't want to say anything. He doesn't want to push back. He wants to give a safe interview. The same Stephen A. Smith that doesn't know half the stuff he talks about with sports, he has no idea what he's talking about. But when it comes to something like this, you'll see in this conversation that we're going to show y'all later on, where he's talking about, he's trying to hide behind his ignorance. Oh, well, I don't really, have an opinion. I just kind of like to listen because I don't really know what's going on. I don't have all the facts. Stephen A. Smith, you are barely capable of having a conversation about football, damn near basketball, but you still have very strong opinions in those areas. People are just scared. So let's get through all of this. Let me see what we'll start off with. Like I said, we're going to start off with this Jamal Bowman thing. And speaking of accountability, I'm just going to try to play this without commenting. I'm going to try to play this video without commenting. This is wild. So it says former U.S. Representative Jamal Bowman. So not Congressman, sorry. Former U.S. Representative. Wait, is it the same thing? I don't know. Hold on. Let me actually check that. I always get confused because obviously the House of Representatives, Senate, Congress. Okay, all right, never mind. They got a couple mosquitoes in here. That mosquito just bit me. Hold on, I got to get him. I'm sorry. And how do I know that he just bit me? Because he's got that drunk, lazy kind of fly. So normally I'm trying to let, well, no, I'm not trying to let him live. Let me stop lying. But let's get to the video. All right. So former U.S. Representative Jamal Bowman claims Black people suffer from obesity, diabetes, cancer, and heart disease due to what? Due to the stress of dealing. Hold on. Let me get off the screen so y'all can see this. Hold on. Due to the stress of dealing with racism every day. Former U.S. Representative Jamal Bowman claims black. Let's just play the video. All right. Let me get out the way for y'all.
This is America.
Catholic
and the
pro-life
problem
ministries
is
bombed.
we are not dealing
Catholic
with
pro-life
America's
ministries bombed. You're
original sin and its disease of hate and racism towards black and brown people and sexism towards women and anti-LGBTQ sentiment. We are not dealing with that. Your colleagues in the Republican Party do not hold each other accountable when it comes to the racism that comes from the party on a consistent basis.
Congressman, I mean, where are you on
You
the...
can't be calm about this. I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart disease...
I'm white, I can't comment
Listen
on
to
it.
what I'm saying.
What
The
you're
reason
saying?
why heart disease and cancer
pretty
and
racist,
obesity
I can't
and
comment on it.
diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day. If your colleagues would listen and try to learn and engage and grow and stop being so hateful, we could have a better country.
Jamal.
But unfortunately, we're still here.
Jamal,
The hate's coming from one side.
Jamal, I feel your passion and I understand where you're coming from sincerely. I really, really do. It happens on both sides, Jamal. You might think it happens more on your side. Jamal,
Did he just
happens
say-
on both sides, Jamal. You might think it happens more on your side. Jamal.
He just called him dog on CNN. All right. This is embarrassing, bro. This is embarrassing. Like, this is... My man just blamed us being called the N-word, both directly and indirectly, is the reason why black people suffer from, what did he say? High blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease, whatever else. Yo, hold on. This is a former representative. He's literally saying this. No, all this stuff has absolutely zero to do with the stress. You know how you know what's a great stress reliever? If people are stressed, go to the gym, go for a run, go for a walk, drink some water. But no, so it's not the Popeyes fried chicken. It's not the Chicken Shack. It's not the liquor. It's not the Kool-Aid and all that high fructose corn syrup. Get y'all some juice with some cane sugar. It's not all the terrible things that we eat, the terrible things, the terrible habits that we have, us not working out. There's people that haven't even broken a sweat. There's people that go most days without breaking a sweat. But no, it's because of we're getting called the N-word, both directly and indirectly. But I want to remind y'all real quick. Let's switch screens. I want to remind y'all exactly who Jamal Bowman is. I want to remind y'all. All right. He calls himself the hip hop congressman. All right. So congressman, it is the same thing. All right. So I wasn't wrong. I just want to remind y'all, pay attention. Pay attention. Look at this man. What type of grown man? I'm going to look up how old he is. Hold on. How old is Jamal Bowman? And I got to ask that because when you see what he's done to his sleeve. Matter of fact, there's another video I got to show y'all too. Hold up. So he was born. Oh, they're going to make me do some math. He was born in 1976. Bro, this man is almost 50 years old. Did I do the math correctly? I think so. This man is almost 50 years old. Watch this. Just watch the video.
We are in the South Bronx. We are in the South Bronx. This is the birthplace of hip hop. I am the hip hop congressman. I want to hear South Bronx chant right now. South Bronx. South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx.
Hey, I can't front. He had it live for a sec.
We are gonna show fucking AIPAC the power of the motherfucking South Bronx. People ask me why I got a foul mouth. What am I supposed to do? You coming after me. You coming after my family. You coming after my children. I'm not supposed to fight back. I'm not supposed to fight back. We're gonna show them who the fuck we are.
Yo, I say it all the time, man. People are trying to relive their high school years, bro. I feel bad for people that felt like they didn't get enough in high school. They're trying to relive it, bro. This is a 50-year-old man behaving like this, moving like this. And to be totally honest, I don't even disagree with everything that he just said. I'll be totally honest with y'all. Like, as far as, because AIPAC, I get he's coming at AIPAC because AIPAC pretty much was the one that, what do they call it? AIPAC put up a whole bunch of money when they primary somebody. They put up a whole bunch of money, so therefore he lost in the primary, I believe, or somebody. They put up a whole bunch of money for somebody that was going up against him, and yeah. But Bez, you said I'm amped. Bez said I'm amped. Yo, I can't even front. He had it rocking for a sec. But this is, I just want to give y'all an example of exactly who this is. See, this is the type of person that's going to appeal. This is no different than hip hop. He's going to try to appeal to the culture, try to appeal and appease to Black culture and Black people instead of telling us what exactly we need to hear. This is the, am I going to say it? This is, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But this is the type of guy that will never tell us what we need to hear. Will never tell us like, nah, we need to put down the bacon. I saw somebody just write something about bacon. Yeah, it is with bacon too. So that we need to put down the bacon, put down that stuff, eat healthy. This is a man that's going on national TV and telling people who already are looking for a reason or a justification for why you're out of shape, for why you're developing these health issues earlier than other groups of people, for why they can't work out. I heard somebody, my boy, yo, shout out to my big bro Pete. Yo, Maya, what did he say? Yo, he said that somebody, yo, all right. Yo. I'm trying not to call. Yo. So he said, or we were talking about somebody that said he used the word, and when he first used it, I didn't know what he meant. And he said challenge metabolism or they have a metabolistically challenge or said something like that. And I was like, wait, what? Maya, write down exactly what it was. I forgot what exactly the term was, but we were over here bugging because I'm like, yo, what did he say? I'm like, yo, he just said that they're fat, right? Like, or they're obese. He said he used the word so slick, and I was like, yo, what? Like, that's what they saying now. Neither here nor there. All right, so we'll finish up with what Jamal Bowman had to say. Hear the rest of this interview. We'll play that part back again. You guys tell me if you think that the reason why, I don't know. You guys tell me, is the reason why we're struggling health-wise because we're getting called the N-word directly and indirectly? Is it because of the racism? This is what I mean when I say we blame any and everything on Donald Trump and the Republicans. It's like we could have a stomach ache and it's like, yo, it's because I'm stressed by walking outside and there's racism, and then I got to eat this terrible food because, you know, Trump gave us the worst food. Like it just is insane. But we'll take a look at it again and then we'll move on from there.
that your colleagues in the Republican Party do not hold each other accountable when it comes to the racism that comes from the party on a consistent basis.
Congressman, I mean, where are you on?
And I'm gonna be honest, yo. I don't know if people starting to pity us, bro. Because I know Anna Navarro, even she's sitting there. Like, I guess Anna's getting called the N-word too. Maybe that's why she's putting on a little bit of weight or is a little bit overweight. I don't know. But the two white guys, one right here and the other one that speaks afterwards, I really feel like they're looking at this man afterwards like, bro, like what am I even supposed to say bad to that? Like, damn, like we really like you're really reaching that much. Look, pay attention.
Be calm about this. I'm a black man in America.
As soon as somebody hits the I'm a black man in America, honestly, there's a 99% chance that whatever he says after that is going to be very just victim Olympic-y. And yeah.
The reason why heart disease.
I'm white, I can't comment.
Listen to what I'm saying. The reason why heart disease and cancer and obesity and diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day.
All right, real quick before we move on from that, I just got to show y'all this real quickly. I got to show y'all. I can't not show y'all. All right, look at him. He did this because at first I thought, all right, maybe the rolling the t-shirt up was just a one-time thing, but he did it with the polo, bro.
Hey, this is Vincent with Our Revolution. I'm here with Congressman Jamal Bowman. We're out here in the Bronx telling folks not to rank Andrew Cuomo. What are our 3 reasons why we're not ranking Andrew Cuomo today?
Number 1, he sexually assaulted 13 women. Number 2, he cut Medicaid, which drastically impacts seniors, as we know. Number 3, he underfunded our schools. And I'll give you a 4th one. He cut funding from the MTA. I'll give you a 5th one. He needs to retire, and we need a new vision for New York, and that's Zohran Mamdani.
It's just crazy, bro. It's just crazy. Like it is what it is. All right. Let's move on. We'll go to which one should we start off with? Let's go to this Jonathan Greenblatt video. I want to go to this Jonathan Greenblatt video. Let me get the timestamp. I'm going to try to. I'm going to probably click back and forth a little bit. I doubt we can make it through this entire thing, but we'll start off in the beginning. Hold on. Matter of fact, nah, we're going to go right to I don't want us to take too much time.
Mr. Jonathan Greenblatt. Since becoming CEO of the ADL, Greenblatt has modernized the organization while focusing on the mission to fight the defamation of Jewish people and to secure justice and fair treatment to all.
All right, so that's who he is. Now let's move on to some of the timestamps. If you guys are not familiar with him, this is who, Kyrie sends out a tweet about that documentary, and this is who jumps in there, the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League. They say that they're fighting like racism and anti-Semitism and a whole bunch of other stuff, but it's really just known as an organization that fights against what they determine is anti-Semitism. All right, let's go.
Challenged. This could not be a clearer case. And keep in mind one other thing, Stephen A.
Okay.
It's not just about Israel. Like, the Iranians have killed hundreds of Americans in Saudi, in Iraq, in Lebanon, in Syria. They tried to assassinate President Trump. They took American hostages again and again.
Is it okay if I go back a little? Oh, wait, no, that's actually perfect.
Again, they've worked against our interests. So this isn't like just a Jewish fight, Stephen A. Your audience needs to know this is an American fight because Iran has made it an American fight. Now, look, that doesn't mean it's a fight between the American people and the Iranian people. Far from it. The Iranian people are extraordinary. But the Islamic Republic of Iran, this despotic government that not only militates against America, that not only foments hate against Jews, Stephen A., they oppress gays, they oppress women, other ethnic and religious minorities. They shoot their protesters in the head or arrest them en masse.
I'm sorry. I'm not like, can you imagine, like, first and foremost, why does, like, they always try to lump us in with Israel's enemies. It really is that big brother, little brother mentality. And it may be like the big brother that uses their little brother, you know what I'm saying, to address problems, or maybe we're the little brother. I don't even know. But it's like you got your brother and you always got to involve him in something like, yo, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Stop trying to involve me. And then when he's talking about all the terrorizing things that Iran does, think about people that are not living in America that see some of the stuff that happens. They'll see a George Floyd situation. They'll see some of these random shootings that we have. They'll maybe hear about a Trayvon Martin. They'll hear about all these different things that happen. So now we're looking at it from afar, from an outside, perspective on things. And they would say a lot of the same things that he just said about this Islamic Republic. They oppress gay people. Well, I'm sure a lot of gay people in America would feel the same way about that as well. We have in my opinion, just my opinion, they demonize these other countries so much. They did it with Putin. They've always done it with the Arab nations. They demonize them so much so we don't look at them in a human way. It's almost, you know what it makes me feel like? You know how they had the slavery? Slaves were, what was it? The 3/5 slaves? Hold on. Slaves were 3/5. Hold on. Yeah, the 3/5 compromise, where slaves were treated as 3/5 of a human, where it's like, it's okay to do this to them because they're kind of subhuman. Like they're clearly like they're the same race, but because they're black, like they're not as smart, they're not as intelligent. Like they actually need us to give them direction. You know what I mean? So we're actually doing them a favor. This is how they want us to look at these Arab nations. How they talk about the government. Oh, it's not the people. The people are cool, but it's the government. Well, look at your government. Look at Netanyahu. He's getting ready to go to court Monday. I believe he's getting accused of, based on Trump's tweet and this video that I saw with Candace Owens, I believe that he's going to court because a lot of people are saying that he knew about what happened on October 7th and had some role in orchestrating, I guess, holding back the military, not responding as quickly as they could in order to create a bigger event. So therefore they could do what they did with Gaza and Palestine, which was destroy the entire thing, committed genocide, in my opinion. But I guess other people may not feel the same. But all of this stuff is designed. It's all marketing. It's all marketing. There's a reason why if we saw a dead dog on the side of the road, we would look at it differently than a deer. Or we would look at it different than a squirrel or a possum or something like that. Why? Because we hold our dogs closer to our hearts. Now, is a dog's life any more valuable than a deer's life? I don't know. But it's all just perspective and how we look at it. And that's something that these people are trying to do passionately to get us to not care, to get us to kind of turn the other cheek when it comes to seeing people who are clearly committing a genocide on another group. Just my opinion, though. Let's keep going.
Close the internet on and on. They repress their own people, let alone other groups around the world. And that's why I think we have a problem with them.
Your thoughts on how much of this emanates from October 7th, 2023, when Hamas, Hezbollah, and other proxies, obviously, of Iran attacked Israel? Paint a picture of what life has been like for the Jewish community, for the state of Israel since that day.
It is such a good and important question. One of the things Jewish people around the world have learned is when someone says they are going to kill you, believe them. So when Hamas said it was dedicated to the destruction of Israel, many in the Jewish
I'm gonna hold my comments.
state didn't take it seriously. Many in the West didn't take it seriously. And then we saw the genocidal rampage on October the 7th.
Yeah, y'all heard that correctly. Then we saw the genocidal rampage on October 7th. This man just called 200 people getting kidnapped a genocidal rampage, but you're anti-Semitic if you float the idea that maybe Israel is committing a genocide on Palestinians in Gaza. the elitism, the entitlement, the nerve. This is insane. But the reason why he feels comfortable saying this stuff is because he knows that he can get away with it. He knows Stephen A. Smith is not going to challenge him on anything. He knows that America is not going to challenge him on anything. This is crazy. This man just said that what happened on October 7th was a genocidal rampage. Gaza is flattened. We don't even know how many people died. I think the last numbers were totaled at something crazy like 50, 60,000. And I'm sure I would believe that it's a lot more than that. This is insane. Like, and he's getting ready to talk about, I think, a little later on. Hopefully I didn't miss it. But I just didn't want to, watch the entire thing. But he talked about, yeah, Iran is targeting hospitals and they're targeting schools and they're targeting places of worship. And I'm sitting here like, yo, have you seen videos of Gaza? Like, I don't know if y'all were targeting anything. Like, it was just, it's all destroyed. Nothing was strategic. So we're supposed to hold the big, bad, terroristic Arab Muslims to a higher standard than they're even holding themselves. But meanwhile, there's no self-reflection of the genocidal acts that they're committing. It's only just based on, October 7th happened, so therefore anything moving forward from there is justified. That's what it feels like to me. Y'all tell me what it feels like to y'all.
Israel was unprepared for it and paid a heavy price. Still, there's 50 hostages being held in chains, in dungeons, in tunnels under Gaza right now. And so when the Iranian regime, literally, Stephen A., in Tehran, they had a clock they erected, like a digital clock that was counting down to the destruction of Israel. The supreme leader in his religious speeches and their political leaders and the military leaders would say things like, Israel is a cancer. Israel is a tumor. The Jewish state will be destroyed. And so I think after October 7th, Israel was reminded.
So Israel's a cancer, Israel's a tumor. Like, how sensitive are you? Like, there is the lack of self-awareness, and I blame us. And that's why I just highlighted your comment. Shout out to Mo Crush in the building. The lack of self-awareness, like, when a kid usually lacks self-awareness, it's usually because of what his parents and other people around him just allow him to get away with everything or her to get away with everything. So therefore, when he gets to school, like, he kind of just like, wait, what? We've never held them accountable. We don't call them out. Like, this is wild. Mo Crush wrote, everyone is misleading and dividing us because we aren't near Europe or the Middle East, and we are such a gullible country. I believe, Mo, I'm gonna be totally honest with y'all. It's to the point now where if you don't see this, then you're just choosing not to see it. I think that even though we are a gullible country, deep down, the majority of Americans know what's happening is not right. Deep down, and see, this is what I fear. This is what I actually do fear among for the Jewish community, because y'all know I got a bunch of Jewish people in my life that I'm close to, and I don't want anything terrible to happen to them. Y'all know I'm pushing peace on all sides, but I got to call this out the way it is. If one person's hitting the other person, if two people are fighting and one person's just beating up the other person, then I'm going to say something a little bit different. I'm not going to tell the person getting beat up to stop hitting the other person. Like, they're trying to defend, like, they're just, in the corner trying to just like make sure they don't get hit. But nobody's calling this stuff out. And so I don't think it's so much an issue of us being gullible. That may have been it from the beginning, but maybe from a justification standpoint. But no, deep down, we know. Deep down, we know. And the thing that I was saying that I fear, when Donald Trump sat down with those two rabbis and he said, hey, you gotta speed this up because you guys are, I think he said something like you're losing the world. And I took that to mean people are starting to see through a lot of the BS excuses y'all are given to justify committing these genocidal behaviors. That's what I took that as. And just like we have that black fatigue, I think we're now entering Israeli fatigue. I think we're entering that phase. I don't know, but that's just the feeling that I get. Now, the difference is people can address black fatigue in a different way. Why? Because black people, just being real, we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom. We don't have the power right now to be bullying anybody. The most we can do is a Target boycott right now. Shout out to Jamal Bryant. Israel, on the other hand, when it comes to that fatigue, we know Israel's very powerful. We know Jewish people in America are very powerful. It just is what it is. Like, why is it like, whoa? We don't have to sugarcoat that. So it's a difference in how you approach those things. It's a huge difference. So let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Of the price that you pay from naivete or willful neglect. And so when Iran continues to not only insist that they will destroy the Jewish state, when we know they're working toward that goal by funding Hamas, by arming Hezbollah, by providing support for the Houthis, Israel felt it compelled, if they're going to, before they have a nuclear weapon, let's stop that in its tracks. I'll make one other really key point here.
Okay.
Israel is not attacking schools or mosques or hospitals or shopping malls or civilian centers. They're attacking military installations, rocket launchers, and nuclear facilities. Contrast that with what the Iranians are doing. Attacking, there you go, mosques, synagogues, schools, shopping malls. They shot up a hospital this morning in the south of Israel, murdered somewhere between 4 to 6 people.
This entitlement's disgusting. And Stephen A is a clown for this. And they actually do go on to talk about Gaza. So Stephen A, it's not like he didn't have any intentions of bringing up Gaza. He brought up Gaza. Like this entitlement, like this is nasty work right here. Literally everything that you're saying that they are doing on a scale, when you compare it to what you're doing to people in Gaza, it's a fraction, a tiny fraction. But you're okay with justifying those things. Why? Because you've told yourself in your mind that what happened on October 7th was a genocidal rampage, as you said earlier. So 200 and something people being kidnapped is a genocidal rampage. So, okay, cool. Maybe it is. So if that's a genocidal rampage, what is killing 70,000 people, destroying their entire country, displacing the majority of people in the country? What do you call that? There's just inconsistency here. And it's crazy, but please tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me what I'm missing. And I saw Mo Crush write, Mo Crush wrote, what's your thought of Trump going to rebuild Gaza? I think it was corny when Trump put up that AI video. I addressed it when it happened. I think it's corny. I think that I'll lose a whole bunch of, matter of fact, forget respect, because I don't even think that that's the word, or I'll lose respect for Trump. No, I will develop some ill feelings in my heart towards Trump if he does stuff like that. It has nothing to do with you. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. Now you want to put up a Trump Gaza attack? Like, stop it, bro. Stop it. Illegal immigrants are the bottom right now. Mo Crush. Illegal immigrants are at the bottom? See, this is where I think we're missing the whole point of the illegal migrants and why the Democrats decided to open the border. You tell me if after a minute if you think that we're at the bottom, or if the illegal migrants are at the bottom. who relies on black people the most? Who's the greatest value to black people? Who has been the greatest value? The Democratic Party, right? Democratic Party, in my opinion, what they're doing with the illegal migrants are pretty much they're importing future voters. They're getting tired of black people, in my opinion. They may give us handouts, give us welfare, all these social programs, but they're getting tired of it. They probably feel like, yeah, we could just bring in these folk and they'll be more appreciative. They don't talk about slavery and do all this victim stuff, and we got to get caught up in all this BS that these people ain't gonna. They blame everybody for their lack of success. They're lazy. They don't. I'm just talking about from a democratic mindset. And now they got the nerve to be questioning us. They always asking about reparations, bringing up all this stuff. We could just import some migrants who willing to work for less, who are, in my opinion, when they come into the country, they're going to come into the country with an entirely different mindset to where they're ready to take advantage of certain opportunities. They're escaping something. Black people, we still feel like we're entitled to something. That's a totally different mindset. Who's going to take more advantage of an opportunity? So I think that that's a long play for Democrats, because I think Democrats are at the point where they're realizing like, we ain't there yet when it comes to, like, we don't need to be this black thing. Like, we're surprised that it lasted this long, but we always knew that we had to incorporate another group of victims. I think that was their mindset. So Mo Crush, I appreciate your sentiments when you say that you've never thought black people were at the bottom, but do I need to bring up, hold on. Let me bring up a graph for you. Damn, I wish I had it on hand. Demographics, household income in America. Hold on, let me look this up. Hold up. This is the we looked at this graph before. Let me see if I can bring it up, make it a little bigger. Hold on one second. All right, so let me share this with y'all. Can y'all see that? So Mo Crush, I'm gonna move your comment just so we can see the graph. So when you say you've never thought black people were at the bottom, we do live in a capitalist society, right? So were you just speaking about from morale? Like, we got a lot of talent, but we just don't, apply ourselves, like you tell a young kid that's not performing well. But what did you mean when you said you never thought black people were at the bottom? Where exactly are we? We're the most unhealthy and we make the least amount of money. Look at who's even above us. Hispanic, Latino Americans, who probably soon in this country will, are there already more Hispanics and Latinos in America? Have they already passed us? Hold on, let me look this up real quick. Google, are there more Black Americans or Hispanic people in the US? Let's see. There are more Hispanic people than Black people in the US. I thought so. So Mo Crush, I gotta ask you, brother, what did you mean? How did you not know Black people were at the bottom? I mean, I appreciate it, but yeah, I think that this graph pretty much shows us. I mean, I don't know what other areas are we judging based on culture, or probably still at the bottom then. Are we judging based on health? We already went over that. Shout out to Jamal Bowman. Part of growing, in my opinion, just my opinion, is recognizing where you are currently. So perhaps us not knowing that may be a surprise for, well, hold up, Mo. Hold up. You really wrote culture, bro? Hold on. See, this is the thing. So Mo, I'm glad that you wrote that. So Mo, man. So Mo said, I have neighbors, friends. I'm going by thought of not income. Okay, so when you say culture, this is what's so funny. when black people, like, see, with me, I'm just going to say me, when I think about black culture, I think about how destructive it is and how it completely destroys our mindset, creates victims, convinces us to do certain things that are going to be mistreating women, selling drugs, killing each other, all these type of things. But to the rest of the world and to America, they love black culture. It's entertaining for y'all, but it's detrimental for us. It destroys us, but it's entertaining for y'all. And if you're not a black person, you don't necessarily have to look at it from the lens that I'm looking at it from. So when you sit here and say the very thing that I think destroys us the most, you're bringing that up as something where it says, well, you're not at the bottom. Look at your amazing culture. What culture are you talking about? What culture are you talking about? There is bad culture and good culture. Mo, stop it. Stop it. What's the dominating black culture? When you think about black culture, stop it. There's a reason why Kamala Harris had Meg Thee Stallion up there twerking to win the black vote. There's a reason why they had Juvenile talking about putting out songs, remixing Back That Ass Up to try to convince people to get vaccines. What is the dominant culture? The dominant culture is what represents us the most. Come on, brother. Come on, brother. Dude, your lens shouldn't include everyone. Bro, that's what culture is. This is insane what you're saying, bro. What do you mean your lens shouldn't include everyone? That's what culture is. So hold on. Mo, tell me what nationality you are. And then you tell me your view, I guess, on black culture. Shout out to Maya in the building. So Maya wrote, a lot of households at the top of that chart prioritize multi-generational households and wonder if that skews the chart any. I don't know. I really don't know. But it doesn't take me. I mean, let me ask you this, Maya. Are you surprised by that? Like, I'm actually surprised that y'all were surprised. Like, I didn't think, I thought that was just a known thing. I mean, are you surprised that Indian Americans do better? Filipino Americans, Taiwanese, Sri Lankan, Japanese, Malaysian, Chinese, Pakistani, white Americans, Korean. I mean, just look at the communities. Look at the communities that are dominant by black culture, and then compare them to other communities. Let me ask y'all this, and let's be honest. The average American, or where's the white Americans? The white Americans are somewhere. What are y'all, like 7 or 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me ask y'all this. If y'all are surprised by the list or think that something is factoring into the list that's throwing off the legitimacy of it, let me ask y'all, who on this list do you think black people are doing better than financially? I'm just asking. Like, I don't know who we would pass. But let's get back to I don't even know where we are. Let's get back to the video with Greenblatt. Let's get back to the video. But y'all tell me I may be wrong. But Mo, I can't. You can't separate like. So let me ask you this, Mo. Is culture just what you see? Hold on. So Mo wrote, white, like 10%, American Indian. I worked, partied, everything. Bad people everywhere. Mo, this is the problem. Like, you think you're doing us. I'm gonna be totally honest. A lot of, like, I have this conversation with a lot of white people that have amazing hearts. I'm being for real. Like, a lot of my white friends that have good hearts, I have this conversation with, where they are so scared to call out the problems in the black community because they feel bad. And it's really a sense of pity. But what you're doing is you're judging us with a curve, but you're judging everybody else without a curve, in my opinion. And when you judge that person with a curve, you're doing them a disservice, rather than just saying, like, bro, you're terrible, you got to get better. But you're saying you're saying like, oh no, it's not so bad. Like Mo. Of course, there's bad people everywhere. So where does that get us? Black people are at the bottom. So that's like us. What you're saying basically is you're looking at this graph and you're looking at black people at the bottom and you're saying, yeah, there's broke people in every group. Yeah, but we're at the bottom. So clearly it's impacting us more, or there's more of us that are broke. But neither here nor there. To each their own. I got you. Like, I'm not saying I'm not saying that you're fake. What I'm saying is you're wrong. I'm saying you're wrong. And what I'm saying is you're wrong because you're probably looking at it from a lens where you're judging us differently than you are judging other people. It's like you coach a team of kids. Let's say you coach a team of kids real quickly, and you got some kids that are much better than the other kids, and you got this one little kid, he's just like really bad. Like you can tell him to hustle. Even if he gives his all, he's just like, yo, he ain't got it. And I can't even say we're the hustle kid, whatever. You're going to tell that kid, you're going to speak to that kid in a different way than you would speak to the kid that you expect more from. But I think y'all understand what I'm saying. I think so. Mo said I'm taking this all the wrong way. So I think Queez, I'm sure Queez will bring some sanity to the conversation. Queez wrote, Mo, compare our communities. We do not circulate money within our communities. We give our money to other communities. We do not invest in each other. We are in competition with ourselves. Mo, you're right. You're comparing it from your lens. But the problem is your lens of people, just like most white people that I'm friends with, they think that this is what happens. This is a perfect example. I'm glad that you brought this up. Most white people that I come into contact with or that I'm friends with, they may think that, and Queez, you may experience this. A lot of us in this chat, I'm sure, experience it, where you'll have certain white friends and they think, oh, all black people are just like you. Oh yeah, like David, yeah, his mom's a teacher, his dad's an attorney. Like that's what most black people are like, right? Went to a good school, yeah. Mo, that's not the case. You're judging it from your lens because the white people that I'm friends with, they don't have a lot of other black friends, just being real. Especially not ones where they have a lot of these conversations that are more intimate. They don't have a lot of these black friends. And yeah, it's all good. I think y'all get the point. I don't want to do too much on it. All right, let's get back to the video.
They're killing Jews, Muslims, Christians. They're killing Israelis. They're killing Arabs. They're killing Bedouin. I mean, they are indiscriminate in their missile fire.
Mo, all joking aside, Mo, can you jump on and explain your point? I would love to hear your point. I would love to hear it. If you can jump on, then let me know. If you can jump on, let me know, because maybe we're just missing each other here. Let's keep going.
Against the Jewish state, while Israel is focusing very precisely on only military targets. I mean, the difference could not be more stark.
I want to make sure that I ask this question in all fairness to the critics and the cynics out there. I don't happen to be one of them. I don't know enough. I listen to critics, but I also listen to somebody like you who I've known for years, and I'm proud to know.
Meat Rider. This is why he's got a chance of becoming the president. He does not care. Stephen A. Smith does not care. There's no values that he's standing on. He is textbook politician. Textbook politician. Listen to what he just said. I don't know enough. That's just an excuse that people use when they don't want to hold somebody to the fire. Listen to what he says.
I mean, the difference could not be more stark.
I want to make sure that I ask this question in all fairness to the critics and the cynics out there. I don't happen to be one of them. I don't know enough. I listen to critics, but I also listen to somebody like you who I've known for years, and I'm proud to know. I will ask you this question in all sincerity, that somebody like you one of the rare individuals qualified to answer this. There's been a lot of criticism being aimed in the direction of Israel, specifically Netanyahu, but obviously overall the state of Israel in terms of what's been happening in Gaza in the aftermath of October 7th. People are talking about women and children being displaced, people being killed, the excessive amount of bombing that Netanyahu and Israel has rained down upon that area of the world, and how essentially it's about expansion more so than anything else. This is what critics have said. We see protests at college campuses throughout the United States. We've seen mainly, primarily people on the right complaining about what's been transpiring at some of these universities, which is why President Trump has received some of the support rather that he has received. We also see representatives, particularly on the extreme left, who clearly think otherwise. Your thoughts about the arguments that are being made against the state of Israel and Netanyahu in light of the displacement and the wreckage that exists in that area of the world because of the bombings?
So there's so much to unpack here. And I'm just going to say right off the bat how much I appreciate you and the show, because you tackle these things with an open mind, looking for the facts, just trying to understand. And we need more of that in our society today. So thank you literally for just probing, saying, hey, help me understand. So a couple things. Number one, Israel is not beyond reproach. The Jewish state certainly can be criticized like any other state on the planet Earth. It's a myth to say I get accused of anti-Semitism if I criticize Israel. I don't think there's a foreign policy topic more widely discussed than what's going on in the Middle East. And if you're looking for an organization that talks about what's happening in Israel and doesn't use anti-Semitism to do it, go to this website, adl.org. Because we criticize Israel, we've criticized the prime minister and prior prime ministers when we disagree. So there's nothing wrong with criticizing the policies, the politics, the personalities in a particular government anywhere, America, Israel, anywhere in between. Now, secondly, what is also true is there are double standards applied to the Jewish state that don't get applied anywhere else. So, for example, you see these protests, like you were mentioning, about what's happened since October the 7th.
Okay.
Against Israel on college campuses. Can you tell me about any mass protests? And by the way, so estimates are that 40,000 some odd people have been killed in Gaza. Every loss, every person killed is a tragedy. Since October the 7th.
Okay.
Against Israel on college campuses. Can you tell me about any mass protests? And by the way, so
my fault.
Estimates
when I stopped it, I said,
40,000.
this is honestly a hard conversation to just listen to, because it's like both of them are coming across like clowns, in my opinion. Like this is not a real conversation. But let's hear what he has to say when he's talking about the deaths in Gaza. And he said 40,000. I haven't heard anybody say 40,000 or that be the estimate of how many people were killed in Gaza. I think, wasn't that like the estimate last year? Weren't people saying that was the estimate last year? I don't know.
About what's happened since October the 7th.
Okay.
Against Israel on college campuses. Can you tell me about any mass protests? And by the way, so estimates are that 40,000 some odd people have been killed in Gaza. Every loss, every person killed is a tragedy. Now, I will stipulate that according to the Israeli estimates, about half the people killed are Hamas fighters. Okay, so whether or not you exactly believe that, that's somewhere in the range, and most other experts are saying much the same. Look now at the.
Isn't that the funniest thing? What other experts are saying? What experts? That's like me jumping on here and saying, some experts say that black people have bad health because of the stress, and black people are obese, not because of eating fried chicken and Kool-Aid, but because, and not working out, but because of the stress of being called the N-word. Some experts would say that. Like what? Like
the Ukraine, where there have been hundreds of thousands of people killed by the Russians, no mass protests. Look at Syria, Stephen A., where again, upwards of 1 million people were killed by the Assad regime and in the civil war that followed. No mass protests. Look at what's happened in.
Shouldn't the mass protest like this? Am I seeing this wrong? Tell me if I'm seeing this wrong. He's seeing the mass protest like, why are you protesting us when everybody else? There's other people that are getting killed in other places. Why are you protesting us? Maybe that's a wake-up call or something, that alarm that should go off in your mind and say, well, damn, what are we doing that they're mass protesting compared to everybody else that they're allowing? Maybe it's because Ukraine's army is more suitable to fight against Russia's army. Maybe because people see what's going on in Gaza, they don't even have a military. They have Hamas. Like most people don't believe that Hamas is the type of military that Ukraine is. This is
the Assad regime and in the civil war that followed. No mass protests. Look at what's happened in China over the decades, where they've repressed minorities. No mass protests. So why is it that only the Jewish state gets targeted this way? And remember that there was a ceasefire in Gaza, if you will, Stephen A., on October the 6th. There wasn't a single Israeli soldier nor a single Israeli civilian inside Gaza. And then, of course, what happened on the 7th. No, I want the fighting to end. I want the hostages to come home. I want Gaza to be rebuilt. That could happen like this.
Is it still frozen? I'm gonna stop for a second. Is it still frozen? Let me know. Somebody just confirm in the chat if you guys are good. And don't trip. We got the internet coming through because right now we're on the internet that they already had here, but we got our AT&T, our own internet coming today. So my apologies if the video is laggy. Just somebody in the chat, let me know. Let me try to log in from a different. Let me see if I can see what you guys are saying. Let me see if I can see what you guys are saying. But if somebody in the chat could just write that you're good, then I'll move forward. Yeah, maybe try resetting, because I just went on from a different. Damn, ain't nobody writing anything? All right, I don't. Yeah, you sent me a text. Can you send me another one? Are we good? I'll go back a little bit if we need to. All right, you guys let me know. It is what it is.
Only the Jewish state gets targeted this way. And remember that there was a ceasefire in Gaza, if you will, Stephen A., on October the 6th. There wasn't a single Israeli soldier nor a single Israeli civilian inside Gaza. And then, of course, what happened on the 7th. No, I want the fighting to end. I want the hostages to come home. I want Gaza to be rebuilt. That could happen like this if Hamas would simply release the hostages and state that they're willing to make peace with the Jewish state.
But Jonathan, is that really, is that?
And hold up, wasn't there already negotiations in place where Hamas, and I got to double check this, and I don't know, it's really hard for, I guess, me to confirm it, but wasn't there something in place where Hamas actually agreed to a deal to give back all the hostages, but it was something I believe that Netanyahu, I don't know for sure, so I'll double check on that. So I'll double check on that, and then we'll confirm that on Monday. But I believe that there was actually a deal in place. But let me not talk about that because I can't totally confirm it. So we'll just keep moving.
Hold on. Is that really true? And I'm talking about specifically Netanyahu here. When we know how dogged he is about eliminating Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran overall. He could, when you call death to Israel, death to America, and you spew that kind of verbiage, and you have proxies carrying out your deeds, your wishes, the way they have, along with the Houthis and others. Netanyahu has made it very, very clear he wants to take care of them. So is it really true that if 50 hostages no longer remained in Gaza, that we wouldn't be seeing these kind of actions from Netanyahu and Israel in pursuit of Hamas? Is that really true?
The truth is that there was no sort of kinetic action happening on October the 6th. And I think, again, if Hamas said explicitly and openly, we'll return all the hostages we took, old people, young people, men, women, boys, girls, we'll return them all, and we'll lay down our arms and agree to negotiate a peace with Israel, then Prime Minister Netanyahu or any Israeli leader would have no pretext to do what they're doing.
He is full of it. Nobody believes that. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all believe it. Y'all tell me if y'all believe it. I don't think that anybody believes what he just said. And you know what's funny about it? Perhaps it says a lot that how they view the value of Palestinian life. We are justifying, is it at any point justified for 70,000 people to die because 200 are kidnapped? I'm just asking y'all that question. Is that godly?
So, I mean, I appreciate the...
Let's move on from there. Maybe I'll show y'all one more clip. My apologies. If it is laggy, don't trip. We'll work with what we got. Like I said, the internet doesn't come. Maybe I should have done the show upstairs today, but my apologies. Yeah, my apologies. All right, we'll keep going. All right, do I want to go to Candace Owens' video or do I want to finish yesterday's video? I'm leaning towards finishing yesterday's video, if that's cool. But if y'all want to hear Candace's, then we can play Candace's. But y'all just gonna have to write it in the chat before I find this other video. So you guys let me know. And I'm finding it right now. So unless I see somebody say Candace in the chat, then we'll just go with this other video. All right. Boom. Let's and Maya, I believe you're writing not at all to anybody believing that. But yeah, it's this situation. It's really devastating in a lot of ways. And I have to admit, for me, it became even more devastating. Like, it's already devastating, but when you realize how you're contributing to it, and I'm talking about America, it obviously becomes even more, for me, it becomes even more devastating. It becomes even more devastating when I look at, I got to show y'all one more part of this. Hold up. I have to show you one more part I got to show y'all. Hold on. I got to show y'all one more part of this.
Because we've got the facts right here and now.
Give me a second.
They're unwilling to accept it. Willing to committing genocide. If that is, it's the worst executed genocide in human history. Israel has the capabilities to do much more damage than they've chosen to do. That in shipping. Israel has exercised supreme caution. Now, I want this Gaza rebuilt. I want peace between Israelis and Palestinians. No one benefits from war except for the Islamic Republic of Iran, except for the Muslim Brotherhood, except for Hamas, the organizations which want conflict. Again, I want.
Yo, this is like, have y'all ever had a conversation with somebody? Is this what people mean when they say narcissism? I know it's been one of those watered down terms that people throw around, but is this really like the definition of narcissism? When you just look at, like, from Israel's standpoint, yo, we're the most gracious people in the world. War only benefits these Islamic extremists. Or it may benefit you if you're taking over Gaza, right? Like, kind of, like, let's keep going. There's one point that I want to touch on. I'm waiting to see, I'll tell you guys, where he starts to talk about whether or not Israel can take care of these wars on their own. And he talks about how America supports Israel, and it goes into this military industrial complex. So I want to try to find that for you guys. I didn't have a timestamp, so my apologies. I thought we would end up watching this a little bit quicker than we did. So
want peace in order to neutralize these threats once and for all, so ordinary Palestinians, ordinary Israelis can live together, safe and sound. I will say one other thing. I am very alarmed, Stephen A., about the level of anti-Semitism in this country, where commentators, as you were alluding, on the far right, like Tucker Carlson, or like, Dave Smith, or frankly, like Candace Owens, that you had on your show, or people on the radical left, people like Mehdi Hassan, people like Hassan Piker, people like Max Blumenthal, make wild claims that the Zionists control America, that this is Israel's war and they're manipulating the United States. Like, that's baloney.
So that's anti-Semitism? Because I 100% believe that. I believe that Netanyahu is manipulating America into getting into a war to support them. And didn't it already happen? Like, the amount of, like, damn, these people are people with this viewpoint that think that they could just get away with saying stuff like this. It's like, it's an insult to my intelligence. This already happened. We just got out of a war that we were manipulated to getting into with Saddam and Iraq because they supposedly had weapons of mass destruction, and they didn't.
And I think good people should call that out every time, because it foments anti-Semitism and hate right here at home.
Well, you brought up the name Candace Owens, who was a guest on this show just last week. And let me get you to respond to what she has to say. I mean, she's got over 4 million subscribers on the YouTube channel, over 6 million followers on Instagram alone. She's very popular. Nobody can deny that. And she's somebody on the right. She's a voter and a supporter unapologetically of Trump, of most conservative causes. But on this particular issue, she has been all in against Israel and then some. So let's hear what she has to say and get your response to exactly what she has had to say about Israel and, to some degree, the Jewish community. Listen to this.
Well, it was very obvious that this war was going to happen because the American foreign policy is dictated by Israel. And it was problematic that Bibi Netanyahu was increasing his rhetoric against Iran. And this is after they have effectively seized land in Syria. They were cheering what happened in Syria. We knew that it was going to wind up with Christians being mass murdered, which is what's happening right now. And what's happening in the Middle East, for those who aren't clear on this, is Israel is simply is expanding its borders, whether that be by carpet bombing women and children, which we have not had a person with power effectively state that this is morally wrong, of course. And now it seems they also want to annex the West Bank. What's happening in the West Bank, which has nothing to do with Gaza, is the individuals that live there are being traumatized by the IDF. And so if you're paying attention, it's very clear that they have become increasingly radical, and they are effectively, as they always do, using the American military to fulfill their foreign policy interests, because they are a small nation. They don't have the bodies to be able to accomplish that. They need the might of the American military to accomplish their foreign Middle Eastern objectives. And so, yeah, it was I am on record saying this for the last 2 years. We're going to war with Iran one way or the other, because what Bibi Netanyahu wants is what Bibi Netanyahu gets.
Floor is yours. Floor is yours, Jonathan. Your response to that.
Lie after lie after lie after lie after lie.
Give it to me.
Yeah, where's the lie?
Look, there's a lot to unpack in what she said. Again, The Islamic Republic of Iran declared war on America 46 years ago. They've slaughtered hundreds of servicemen, civilians, journalists, diplomats, etc.
So you're saying in 46 years, they slaughtered, like, really break this down. Pay attention to how he just said this. He's making it seem as if he's talking about 46 years, they've slaughtered hundreds. Bro, we're talking thousands, maybe almost 100,000 of Palestinians who have been slaughtered.
After a lie.
Give it to me.
I mean, look, there's a lot to unpack in what she said. Again, the Islamic Republic of Iran declared war on America 46 years ago. They've slaughtered hundreds of servicemen, civilians, journalists, diplomats, etc. They tried to kill the president of the United States.
Even though Ted Cruz, he's still pushing this. They tried to kill the president of the United States. This is...
Again, President Trump. They've tried to kill and put fatwas out on people like former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former U.S. Ambassador to the UN.
Like, this is the gaslighting that occurs. Donald Trump, these same people, they're trying to make them seem as if they're the most ruthless people in the world. Look at what they did. They called Trump up and said, hey, remove all the Americans from this base because we're about to bomb it. Is that consistent with how these people are being portrayed, or do they sound to be a lot more diplomatic than people like Jonathan Greenblatt are making them out to be? Because they've killed hundreds of Americans in the last 46 years.
John Bolton, former State Department Special Envoy Brian Hook. I mean, this is what they have done in just recent years. And the reality is that to make these claims that Israel is carpet bombing, does she know what that word, what that term even means?
I didn't know what it meant. So I looked it up. And I'll tell y'all what I found. Matter of fact, I'll let y'all see it. I'll let y'all see it. I don't need to. What does carpet bombing mean? Let me share this with y'all so you guys can see it as well. Screen, window, share. Let's see. Okay. So I think we got it right here. Can y'all see? All right. Carpet bombing. Oh, shoot. What did I mess up? Okay, here we go. Carpet bombing is a military term that refers to the large-scale systematic dropping of many bombs over a wide area with the goal of destroying everything within that zone. Have y'all did see the video that I put up of what Gaza looks like the other day, right? Okay. Seems pretty consistent so far. Key features: indiscriminate, not targeted at specific military objectives, affects both military and civilian areas. Now, I guess Jonathan Greenblatt would say, well, it is specific military objectives, even though it's clearly impacting both military and civilian areas. Devastating, designed to overwhelm and destroy infrastructure, buildings, and sometimes morale. Any argument there? I don't know. Used in major wars, notably in World War II and Vietnam. Why is it controversial? High civilian casualties. I think that's pretty widely accepted that there's a high civilian casualty. Considered a violation of humanitarian law in many modern contexts. I believe that, like, isn't Bibi Netanyahu, doesn't he have like a world arrest or something like that, where I forget, a global, they're trying to arrest him for exactly what's going on in Gaza. So I believe that this obviously qualifies because he definitely is considered to have violated humanitarian law. seen as a form of psychological warfare and mass destruction. Well, I'm pretty sure when you have mass destruction, there's some psychological warfare there. So I think that qualifies. It's called carpet bombing because the bombs are dropped so densely that the affected area looks like it has been carpeted with explosions. And it says, let me know if you want examples from specific conflicts. Let me ask ChatGPT this. What's the most recent example? I don't know. ChatGPT, they real Stephen A-ish, if you know what I mean. Let's see. Oh, they taking long to respond to this one. They take the most recent example. The most recent example occurred on April 18, 2025, when the U.S. carried out a massive air campaign against the Iran-aligned Houthi rebels in Yemen's Red Sea region, targeting the Ras Isa oil port. This operation, known as Operation Rough Rider. Large-scale indiscriminate bombing by U.S. aircraft aiming to neutralize Houthi control and capabilities of the port. Okay. I think we can stop here. I think we got our answer. If you'd like, I can provide comparisons to earlier notable examples: Tokyo in World War I, Vietnam, and Gaza. All right. So I don't know, Jonathan Greenblatt. Let's get back to the show, though.
Because you have literally no examples of that whatsoever. Israel hasn't taken any territory out of Syria. Maybe she's talking about the Golan Heights, which Israel took in 1967 after the Syrians shot at Israeli kibbutzim and Israeli civilians, lobbed mortars from that high strategic plateau for decades against them. Maybe that's what she means. Look, Israel has done more to protect religious minorities, including Christians, including Druze, in Syria and in Israel. The only country in the Middle East where the Christian community is growing is Israel, not in any of the neighboring countries. And lastly, I'll just say these claims that like Israel needs America to fight its wars. I mean, look at what the Israeli military has accomplished in Gaza, taking out Sinwar, in Lebanon, taking out the Hezbollah leadership, in Iran, taking out the Iranian military command structure, all over. Israel has fought these wars entirely on its own. Now, it's certainly true that the Israeli military uses some American military equipment for which they pay. Most of the money that we give to Israel military aid, Israel is obligated to spend on U.S. munitions, U.S. equipment, U.S. hardware.
And then we just revealed, like, that's the big, I know for a lot of people, they may already be aware of it, but for others, I don't know if y'all just understood what he said. So he said for a lot of this stuff, Israel actually pays for. And he said, and it may have been a little bit confusing because it says, yeah, we give Israel money, but they're obligated to use that money. It's almost like a voucher. Like, we're giving you this voucher, but you got to spend it at our store. Or it's almost like a gift card. You know how you get a Target gift card or something else? You can't go to Walmart and use your Target gift card. So you have to spend it with them. And it's probably a lot more pressure on them to, like, you have to spend it with America. And I don't know what other stipulations they put on it, but it's probably by a certain time frame and whatever. This is what happens when we say that we're giving all this aid to people, when we're giving all this aid. So when we're sending sandwiches or whatever else to Palestine, sending food there, but then we're sending money to Israel that they're now spending with us to buy guns, and from America, our military industrial complex, we make the guns, we make the weapons, we make the ammunition, we make the tanks, all these different things. They have to spend it on us. So when we write that check to Israel, it's really just, I mean, I don't know. This is why a lot of people say it's money laundering. So this is what happens with a lot of these politicians, right? A lot of these politicians, what will they do? They'll want to send money out to all these different countries because they know that money has to be spent on American countries. And then when they're done in politics, or their family members while they're still in politics, they can get consulting gigs with a lot of these companies, these American companies that are manufacturing the weapons and everything like that. So neither here nor there. That's the last thing that I wanted to touch on with that. before we get back to the other video from yesterday. We'll finish the video from yesterday in which we were talking about where this entire conflict started. How did Jews and Arabs split? Why are they always at war? And we were watching this interesting video from yesterday. If y'all didn't catch that video, you may want to eventually go back and watch it, the beginning part of it, but we'll get into that now. So we'll get through as much as we can, but I'm gonna make sure that I have y'all out of here by 10, if that's okay with y'all. So let's go.
God promised than just God had a plan for both, but the plans were different. To understand why Ishmael's blessing differs from Isaac's, one must first understand the most important aspect of this story, the covenant with God. And most importantly, only Isaac received the covenant. A covenant is more profound than just a promise. It is a binding commitment, a sacred and special relationship between God and a chosen people. Through this covenant, God promised Abraham a unique relationship, and through Abraham, blessings that would flow to all his descendants. But why Isaac and not Ishmael the firstborn? The answer is a divine choice that we cannot understand. And God is very explicit about this. Yes, but your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. Later, he reaffirms it. Because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. This decision establishes a central idea in the Bible. Divine election is not based on human merit or order. Ishmael was born from Sarah and Abraham's human plan and effort. Isaac, however, was born from a miracle, from God's direct intervention.
I'm sorry, but like, did Abraham make a deal with God, or did he make a deal with the devil? When we use that term, a deal with the devil, what does it usually mean? It means that I'm making a deal with somebody where I know that I'm compromising my morals, values, and integrity, right? To where at some point, I know that the decision that I'm making is not honorable, but I'm doing it anyway to receive a benefit in another area. Am I wrong for looking at it like that? That's how I always looked at when people say that you're making a deal with the devil, right? Either now you know that this is something that is dishonorable, no integrity, or later on in the future, you know that because it's dishonorable and there's no integrity, you know it's going to come back to haunt you. Am I off in that? So I ask again, I thought Abraham made a deal with God, but what type of God would make a deal with Abraham that involved him getting rid of his son and his child's mother, who saved him in a lot of ways because Sarah couldn't have a baby? But now, as soon as Sarah can have the baby, you just become a deadbeat. So God is telling Abraham to be a deadbeat? Is that what we're like? This is
intervention in two elderly and barren bodies. The spiritual covenant is tied to the miracle, not the human plan. Ishmael receives a blessing of worldly greatness. Isaac receives the covenant to be part of God's sacred history. The concept of being...
And let me know if you want to tap in. If not, we'll just go through it and we can just catch up on Monday.
The covenant people and the chosen people has been the core of Jewish identity throughout history. It has been a source of pride. It has been the source of their survival, and at the same time, a cause of conflict with a world that often rejects this idea. But God makes it clear that, although Ishmael isn't the son of the covenant, he's not beyond his care. Before the expulsion, when Abraham pleads for his firstborn son, God responds directly with a promise of greatness. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I will bless him and make him fruitful and multiply him exceedingly. This promise is dramatically fulfilled in the desert after Hagar and Ishmael are cast out from Abraham's camp. When Hagar and young Ishmael are about to die of thirst, an angel of God intervenes. Not only does he show them a well of water to save their lives,
Yeah, hold on. I just opened it up on my other screen. Somebody tell me real quickly, is this still laggy for y'all? Where it's kind of skipping, the video is skipping? I don't know if my voice is skipping as well, but if somebody can tell me if the video is skipping for you all, because when I just like, let me make sure that I can log in from another window. Let me know real quick. Let me know real quick. Let me know, because this is too much of an important video. All this stuff, right? But I definitely don't want, since we're relying on so heavily. Okay, so Unc said, okay, Unc, it's me. Yo, my apologies. Damn, was it doing this yesterday? I don't know. My apologies, especially if it was doing this yesterday and I just wasn't aware of it. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop right now, and we'll address this either over the weekend or on Monday. So that's what we'll do. We'll hold off for now, and then we'll address this either Monday or over the weekend. All right. So let me get rid of this. My apologies for y'all. I really do appreciate y'all still rocking with me. But it's definitely lagging on when I'm looking at it from my end. Maya wrote not lagging for me right now. Don't worry about it. This is what we'll do. We'll because I definitely want to get your insight on this as well, Unc, as well. So let me do this. Let's kind of take a couple deep breaths before we get ready to do our 45 seconds. All these topics, or a lot of the topics that we're discussing, are very heavy. These are very heavy topics. And a lot of times, if you don't just go along and agree with certain perspectives, then you're going to be seen as hating this particular group or hating this particular view or whatever else. And sometimes you just got to take that. Sometimes you just got to take that. Everybody's not going to feel comfortable speaking out or having a certain perspective or being honest enough with themselves and having the courage, I should say. Sometimes you got to have courage just to acknowledge something within yourself, in my opinion. I know for me, that's the case. And I know that I've struggled a lot when it comes to these issues with Israel over the last couple of years. And I've been pretty transparent with you guys about that. But this is just not right. This is just not right what's going on. It comes across as elitism, entitlement. It's funny how you can be accused of being anti-Semitic, but what I'm really looking at it, I'm calling it out because it seems like there's a certain level of racism going on. And when I say racism, I simply mean that, well, everything that else that I've been saying, as far as Fox News, Jonathan Greenblatt, Israel, Netanyahu, a lot of the people trying to do what they've done for a very long time for us, which is trying to make us seem, or trying to make us think that all Arab Muslims are radicals, or that's the norm, and the exceptions are the okay ones. They've been doing this for a very, very long time. A very long time. Let's keep it real. 20 years ago, or was it 20 years ago? Yeah, about 20 years ago, let's say. 22, 23 years ago. 24 years ago. Damn. Right after 9/11, you get on a plane and somebody gets on a plane with a certain head wrap or certain attire that symbolizes something Islamic. Don't front like you didn't look at it twice, like, oh. This is what happens. This is the picture that they painted for us. This is how they get us to see things from the perspective that they want to see in order to justify. And when I say they, let me be very clear. I'm talking about America as well. But Israel, I'm talking directly to as well. This is what they've always tried to do. Try to make us see a group of people as less than in order to justify inhumane things that you're doing to those people. And that's the same thing that they did with slavery. The same thing that was done with slavery. How do we convince the majority of Americans to accept and go along with slavery? Well, you just convince the group of people that you convince that group of people that the group of people that you're committing these heinous crimes to, whether it's genocide, whether it's slavery, you convince the greater population that, oh, those people are subhuman. Those people's lives shouldn't be valued the same as you and your families. And that's why they've been able to get away with certain things that are done globally, just like what's happening in Gaza right now. So perhaps the first step is us just waking up and acknowledging it, having these conversations, not being scared to call out certain things, right? Jonathan Greenblatt, he said we can criticize. It's funny how on one hand he said that we can criticize and we could even criticize personalities. We could do all those things. But to suggest, I forget exactly what he said. I think he said to suggest that Israel's manipulating America into fighting its battles is anti-Semitic. Yeah, okay, whatever. Like, call me whatever you want to call me. Like, yeah, it is what it is. All right, so let's take our 45 seconds. Y'all know what we do. Exhale all the negative energy. Get it out of our system so that way we can radiate positive energy in our day-to-day lives when we're moving around, but we're focusing on today. So let's get rid of all that negative energy, scared energy, fearful energy, anything that's limiting us, anything that's allowing ourselves to see us as smaller than we truly are, anything that's not uplifting us. Let's get that out of our system and inhale all the positive aspects, the confidence, the reminders that a lot of times we need, reminding ourselves that we are capable, that we are successful, that we are godly beings. Let's remind ourselves that we're all godly beings. 45 seconds. Close your eyes if you're in a safe place or leave them open. It's up to you, but we'll start now. One last exhale. Inhaling all the positive. Y'all know we do elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, raising our standards to become the best leaders we can become that we need now more than ever. Yes, yes, yes. Definitely got to double down on that, as well as raising our standards to grow into the people that we need to grow into in order to accomplish these amazing goals that we set out for ourselves. All right. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Y'all know what it is when I say get to that bag. For those that don't, that's all the things that we're going to focus on. The small steps, their perception of small steps, the things that we're doing throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year, they're going to add up and make sure that we're on the proper trajectory to live in our purpose as we strive for purposeful abundance. You got to figure out what's in your bag. Figure out the impact that you want to make on this world. Maybe that's something that we can think about over the weekend. What's going to be our personal legend? If anybody's read that book, The Alchemist, then you know exactly what I mean. If not, maybe just look it up real quick. Just what personal legend means. YouTube, quick little video explain it. But it's pretty much our purpose and our impact on the world. What are we going to be known for when we're no longer here in the physical? Think about it like this. I was thinking about this the other day. Like great people, when you make an impact, and it doesn't have to be famous people, great people. Sometimes great people could just be our granddad that nobody knows but the family. You know what I'm saying? Just great people. Their impact is felt for a lot longer when they aren't here in the physical than when we are here. So maybe that's something that we should think about. What's going to be our personal legend? Because we all are capable of having amazing legends and impacting the world in an amazing way. All right. So what's in my bag? Peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and in everything we do. Integrity. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have an amazing weekend. Happy Friday. Y'all know we set out every week to do. Make this our greatest week ever. So for a lot of us, we got to make sure that we're finishing out Friday strong to bring that to fruition. So on that note, I'll see y'all soon, either over the weekend or on Monday. I'll let y'all know. Just pay attention to the notifications. Like on your way out. Subscribe. And not only subscribe, turn your notifications on so that way you will see the notifications when they come out. On that note, I'll see y'all soon. Ew. Unc wrote, one love always, nephew. Give me a call. I'll hit you up in a little bit, Unc. All right, I'll see you soon.